This is TWiT.
The FCC is acting a little oddly. They're reporting spamming of the FCC net neutrality commenting site, and they claimed DDoS attacks. And the moment I thought, or the moment I heard that, I remembered that my own experience, and it might have, I don't think I did it that night, but it was like sometime later the following day. The site is just horrifically designed. I don't know what the database backend is, but as I mentioned on the show last week, when I talked about the gofcyourself.com, which was the referral domain that John Oliver gave us on HBO's last week tonight with John Oliver, Sunday before last, was that you couldn't get a total of the number of comments. It was just very clunky in its design. So my suspicion was that it was just lots of people trying to submit comments, that it wasn't a classic DDoS attack.
And there was spamming happening from the anti-net neutrality side.
Yes.
They were all duplicate comments.
Correct. So it wasn't even very well done, spamming. And I did note also that their site doesn't have any bot protection on it. So it was like, okay, again, another strike against it. Who's going to do a good form submission that doesn't prevent it from being spammed?
It's a government website.
Well,
what do you expect?
The government, exactly.
But by the way, the same thing happened last time. The difference was that the chairman of the FCC didn't declare that they'd been DDoSed and closed the whole thing down. Right.
Yeah. So a guy named John Bambanek, a threat intelligence manager at Fidelis Cybersecurity, was quoted saying, "There don't appear to be any indications of a DDoS attack in the sensors we use to monitor for such things. It appears the issue with the FCC is less of a DDoS attack as traditionally defined and more of an issue of crowdsourcing comments generated by John Oliver and Reddit, who also picked up on it. And of course, we did on this podcast on the following Tuesday, which was last week. Also, Jake Williams, the CEO of cybersecurity firm Rendition InfoSec, said the FCC, quote, offered no support to prove a DDoS had occurred, adding, there was no observed dark web chatter about such a DDoS before or after the event, and no botnets that we're monitoring, he said, received any commands ordering a DDoS on the FCC site. And also, when the press asked for additional background from the FCC on the so-called DDoS attacks, no response was forthcoming. So I think they were unfortunately just probably embarrassed by the amount of both legitimate and illegitimate traffic that came to there in order to lodge their protest.